We talk all things mom, boss, and growing our businesses. Welcome to BizMomCoaching, the #1 channel where the real heroines, moms in business, support you through their journeys to help build your business. Here you will see that you are not alone in your business journey. Moms often have the exact same struggles, and we are here to support you. Subscribe and join our mom business community. We would love to network with you. Remember to watch until the end, when I will share how you can access the most effective ways to structure your online business to grow faster and have more time. Exactly what all us mom bosses yearn for. Let's get started. So welcome to BizMomCoaching. Today I'm speaking to sales coach Ryann Dowdy of Uncensored Consulting, and she helps women to sell in a way that feels good to them. Ryann, I'm so excited to talk to you. You have no idea. Firstly, I know that your services are extremely in demand, and therefore you will be able to help a lot of women who watch this interview. And secondly, I know that so many women, especially women, struggle a lot when it comes to sales. So first of all, just tell us exactly what it is that you do and why and how did you end up specializing in sales?
Yeah, absolutely. I am super excited to be here. Thank you for the opportunity. So I actually spent my entire corporate career in sales. So I started in sales right out of college, selling radio advertising in Orlando, Florida, and didn't know that sales was something I was going to be doing or something I wanted to do. But I needed a job, and I was 21 years old, and it sounded fun. And so that was kind of how I started. And so I started as a salesperson, and my career continued to progress. And I went from salesperson to sales trainer and coach to sales leader to channel sales manager and to director of sales. So I essentially just kept kind of growing. And once I got into the training and coaching side of sales, I really started to love it. And I really became a student of sales and learning to sell and reading books and watching courses and attending training events and all that, and just really fell in love with it. And honestly thought that I would stay in the corporate world. I never actually had any desire to be an entrepreneur at that time, because I was a commissioned salesperson, right? I was in control of my income. I didn't need to start my own business. And then, like a lot of moms, I had a kid. And when I went back to work at my director of sales job, I was just like, I don't want to be on this ladder forever. Like, I know what the next step is, and I don't want that. I don't want to live on an airplane. I don't want the pressure. I just don't want that at all. And at the time, I knew nothing about entrepreneurship. I knew nothing about online coaching. I was just like, how do I get off this ladder? And so I started networking and talking to people, and gravitated towards women, because I don't know if it's like the athlete in me that I really love women. I love supporting women and empowering women and encouraging women. And that was kind of how it started. And I kept meeting female entrepreneurs who were doing really, really cool things, but their businesses suffered, right? Like, they weren't doing as well as they should, or they weren't making as much money as they should. And what I learned is that because nobody is teaching sales to entrepreneurs. There's a lot of business coaches that'll teach you the back end of your business. There's a lot of business coaches that teach marketing. There's a lot of business coaches who teach, launch strategies and really cool, amazing, needed things. But there's this teeny tiny piece in the beginning of your business, which is learning how to sell human to human, like going out, meeting somebody new, building a relationship, having a sales conversation, pitching your services, overcoming objections, and then delivering on that service that nobody was teaching brand new entrepreneurs. So I just saw this giant gap in the market that I've been spending my entire career honing. And so really learned to simplify the sales process that I've been teaching to my sales teams in the corporate world, and really having it translate over to the online space and online networking and connecting. And it's been a crazy, wild, insane couple of years.
Wow, I love that. And I agree fully with you. There is definitely such a big gap in the market for the sales side. There are a lot of help for entrepreneurs when they want to start their businesses and every aspect inside of the business. But when it comes to sales, everybody's frozen because they don't know what to do, and they're so scared of that. So you believe that selling equals helping. Is that what gives your business purpose and depth by helping your clients to realize this?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, what gives my business purpose is empowering women to realize that they're in total control of their financial success. Like once a woman realizes that once I learn how to sell one thing, like once I learn how to run the sales process a handful of times, like the sky is the limit. Like it will, like everything opens up for you. And so watching that happen for women who have been struggling and feel like they're doing all the things and, you know, just starting to feel defeated and frustrated, and watching that light bulb come on for them. And then they'll be like, oh, like this is just the beginning, is what really lights me up every day. And I feel like my purpose is to empower women in that way and make them learn that selling is helping and selling is serving. And we are not in the business of, you know, trying to convince people to do things or anything along those lines, but really just to build relationships and serve, which is what women do so beautifully anyway. So it's so much fun to watch.
Yes, and once entrepreneurs realize this, everything can change for them. Their businesses start growing, and it causes a ripple effect in their clients' businesses, and everyone wins. So that's amazing. And you say on your website, sales is a skill set that you can learn, and developing a repeatable process can remove the stress and negative emotions around sales. Having specific ways to prevent your solutions and discussing money takes the pressure off. Now, we all have frustrations in our business journey as entrepreneurs, and sales often being a big one. The key to eliminate some of these frustrations is basically to learn the right skills and strategies and become more confident. Do you think that by knowing how to sell effectively can eliminate a large portion of the overwhelm and frustrations that so many of us experience?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, once you, like I said, once you know that process, and once you, the guesswork of where's my next client coming from and how am I going to get it and what am I going to do and where am I going to find, like once all that drama goes away, the frustration just shifts to the next level up, right? But it takes away a lot of that pressure once you know, okay, I know what to do first, and I know what to do next, and I know what to do next, and I know how to handle no, and I know how to follow up, and I know how to build relationships. A lot of that pressure and that frustration and that overwhelm goes away because the process is duplicatable. It can be done over and over again. And to be clear, like the women I coach don't always hear yes, right? The women I coach don't get every single client, but they know what to do with no, and they know how to feel about no. They're learning how to not take it as personally and things like that. So I think that duplicatable system is what makes it easier to keep going after you get a no.
So true. And I think so many people, and again, especially women, we don't like to be rejected in business. We feel that there is something wrong with us, whereas that person might just not be in their buyer's journey to be ready to buy from you, or there might be another reason where it's not actually you as, the service provider that is the issue. Right. And if you can just get your mindset right and have someone to actually teach you how to, get yourself and your mind in the right place, it helps so much. Because I think the rejection is something that a lot of entrepreneurs, fear.
Yeah. We do. And I think that's so interesting about entrepreneurship. And like, I actually was just talking to someone about this the other day. We were taught our whole lives not to fail, right? Like failing was bad. It was bad in school. It was bad in college. It's bad when you fail in relationships, right? Like we don't want to fail, but as entrepreneurs, like that's just kind of part of the deal, right? And I actually encourage people to just redefine failure, right? Like I think the only way you fail is if you quit, right? When you pack it up and go home, that's how you fail. I think getting no or bombing a sales conversation or, something like that, to me, that's not failure. That's a learning opportunity. But so many of us think, oh, well, I failed, right? Like I had an opportunity and I didn't close it. And so therefore I failed. And like you said, therefore I'm not good at this. And therefore this, I might not be cut out for this, instead of just realizing I'm learning something that I've never been asked to do before in an entirely new environment.
Exactly, and we all grow by going through this. We all need to get rejected at some point in order to learn and grow and better ourselves and better our businesses. So if a person does not have the right sales skills, it would grow their business significantly faster if they invest in acquiring those skills from an expert. Like yourself, it's sales a hard and long journey to learn by yourself as an entrepreneur, and will it save immense amounts of time if you invest in an expert?
Absolutely. I mean, I think everything everything in journey in entrepreneurship that we choose not to do invest in definitely does lengthen our journey, right? Like, I think I am a huge believer in investing in yourself and learning from somebody who's farther ahead of you. But to me, investing in learning sales skills, and whether it is with a coach, whether it's just from books, like obviously as a sales coach, of course, I would love to support you, but I think in general, like, go read the books, listen to the podcasts, like, consume the free information if that's what if you need to do. But I think learning, one, to adjust your mindset around sales and understand what sales is and is not, is in and of itself going to cut a really long time off of that learning curve. And then number two, once you learn a sales process that works for you and develop a sales process that works for you, it makes every bump in the road, shorter and shorter and shorter. So, but I believe that, I've invested in all of the experts, right? I've invested in a mindset coach. I've invested in a business coach. I've invested in somebody to help me launch, right? I invest in someone to handle the finance side of my business because that's not what I'm an expert in. So I'm a huge fan of investing. And I think that because I've invested so aggressively in my business has grown really aggressively. But for sure, hiring a sales coach or hiring someone who teaches you how to have those conversations is definitely going to cut out a lot of the trial and error that I see a lot of new entrepreneurs suffer with.
Oh, absolutely. And I love that. And what do you think about social media and selling? Does it always start with, warming up your leads and creating relationships and networking as opposed to like cold selling?
Absolutely. Like, rule number one in my community is we do not sell to anyone we don't have permission to sell to. Right? I think that's actually why so many of us have so much drama around sales, is because we have sold to or pitched when we didn't give somebody permission to, right? When we didn't say we were interested, when we didn't volunteer to have the conversation or hear the presentation, right? And I think that's what so many women are so fearful of, is people thinking that of them, right? We've all been sold that way, and we're like, no, I don't want to associate with that. And so therefore, if that's what sales is, I don't want to do that. And that's why we really want to reframe that mindset to the idea of, I don't think you should pitch anyone until you have a relationship, right? To me, it's all about networking and building relationships. And I think social media just gives us an advantage to be able to talk to more people, right? Like, when I started my radio career, I'm going to sound old here in a minute, back in the day, like, I had to go places to meet people. I had to go to networking events. I had to go pull doors. Like, I had to go into businesses because there wasn't Facebook groups full of, my ideal client. I couldn't go do an Instagram, like a hashtag search on Instagram to find people that needed radio advertising in Orlando, Florida. I had to go out and meet them in real life. And so I think social media just gives us a tool. What I think has happened, though, is because it's so easy, a lot of people do just wind up with the cold pitch strategy. And so for me, I never teach the cold pitch strategy. I teach a strategy of going out, networking, connecting, serving, building relationships, and only when you have permission to actually have a sales conversation with someone, and that both of you agree that you were in a sales conversation, is when we were the only time we were actively selling our services. Otherwise, we're just building relationships.
Yes, I love that. And I've also in my own business found that networking works the best. We've all been bombarded with being sold to, so at the end of the day, we don't want to do that to someone else. And I love that you focus on, starting to warm up people first. And like you say, if you have the permission, then you can go ahead and actually invite them into your world more. So that is really a great thing to think about for all entrepreneurs. So let's talk a little bit about mom business life integration. So how do you integrate your business with mom life and family responsibilities?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm actually like an outlier. My intention in starting a business was not to stay home with my kids. I really just wanted to have freedom. My commitment this year was I'm not going to work Fridays in the summer. Right? Because I want to go to the zoo and I want to go to the pool and I want to have long weekends and, I want to do the fun stuff with my kids. So that's been my thing. So my husband actually stays home with my kiddos. So we retired him back in March, actually right before COVID, which worked out beautifully for us in having him home. And we've been very blessed through everything that's gone on the past few months. So my husband stays home with the kiddos, and I work. My work hours are pretty much 9 to 4, Monday through Thursday. And sometimes, I mean, I like early mornings, and I create content at different times, but I'm really only available to my clients during those hours. And I'm getting better at boundaries. Again, coming from the corporate world, I'm a little bit of a recovering workaholic. I really enjoy working, and that the expectation was you worked until you got the job done. So I actually have to kind of push myself to stop working. But I mean, it's been really great. And I love like having my kids home. My kids are little. So my Georgia's 13 months and Davis is 3.5. And so like, it's fun when I go upstairs for lunch, I get to have lunch with them. And, we don't have to wake them up in the morning to go to daycare or anything like that. Like Georgia slept like almost 9 o'clock this morning. I don't know why. What happened? She doesn't usually, but But I mean, when I was working full time, we were both working full time. Like we would have had to wake her up and take her to daycare. That we wouldn't have had that choice. So for us, it's just been such a blessing. But it is a balance too, right? Because you work at home and there's life at home, and at some point, my husband will have to focus on the baby, and the 3-year-old will run under my desk. And it's been so cool for us to be able to do that. And I'm getting better. Like, okay, it's 4:00. I'm done now. And we're able to have like an early dinner and actually go outside and play and do those types of things, which we didn't get to do when I was working full time, right? Like we came home, we ate dinner, we went to bed because we didn't get home and dinner wasn't on the table until 6:30 and bedtime is 7:30, So it's really incredible for us to be able to have that time and then have the Fridays where we get to do fun stuff, or we'll take the kids to my mom's and take them swimming. And so I'm actually learning more balance in that way than I ever had in the corporate world. So for us, it's been really, really exciting and fun to kind of transition into this thing where we're all home all the time.
Oh, that's amazing. Yes, I love that. And the thing is, I think when we love our businesses, it is difficult, to stop working. But we do get better with it. It is just something that, putting those boundaries, like you said, and, just trying to put a time management strategy in place that works for you and your family. At the end of the day, I think that, that can take you very far. And we do the best that we can. It's not always perfect, but like you say, it's so much fun. It's so great to be able to have your kids around and your husband around and be there for them. And in regards to the time that works for you best. So I really love that you are able to do that. And that is such a difference if you look back to the corporate world, I would assume as well.
Yeah, no, our life is dramatically different. Our pace is a little bit slower, and we have a lot more fun.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, and what drives you in your business as a mom business owner? Would you say that it is your kids? Is it the business itself? Is it your clients? How do you feel?
I think it's all of the above, right? Like for me, it's very much like legacy for me. Like I'm very like big picture focused, having choices. And I was blessed to be raised with a wonderful family, and my life has been very good, but to know that like I will have different choices, right? Like I will be able to send my kids to private school if that's a choice, right? Like my parents unfortunately weren't able to pay for college, so I still have student loan debt that I carry. And so knowing that I'm changing that story for my family, ending a lot of money drama, educating. We're in a generation where, I don't know about you, but I was not heavily educated about money and, how to invest in money choices and stuff like that. So changing some of those things for me is really exciting. But then also, like I said, empowering other women to do the same, right? So for me, as I get to expand and change my legacy and change my family's lives, the women that I work with get to do that same thing. And sometimes that for them is as simple as, I don't have to go to work anymore. I can make money working from home, and my kids don't have to go to daycare, or because I work with a lot of women who that's their thing. I also work with a lot of women who do want big businesses that make multi-six figures, and they want to do that same thing, retire a spouse and stuff. So for me, it's that butterfly effect, like you mentioned earlier, that ripple effect of every woman who learns to sell. And I think it impacts everything, right? Sales doesn't just impact us in entrepreneurship. Heaven forbid somebody decided they wanted to go back to work and get a full-time job. Like having a sales skill, like that's how we interview, right? That's how we date. That's how we convince our toddler to eat vegetables, right? Learning how to do those things is a priceless tool. So for me, that's a really, really big deal, is giving women that power back. And I love to teach. I think that's just a lot of fun to watch somebody take something that in their head feels really complicated and scary and like watch the light bulb go off. I just get so much pride and satisfaction out of watching that happen with the women I work with.
Oh, that's great. And I really love also that you said, the effect that it has on your kids, to empower them to change their mindset on money, and so that they don't have to go through all these scary thoughts and the process that we have to go through, and actually strip that indoctrination from ourselves in order to do business better if they decide to start their own businesses. But even if they do go into the corporate world, it will help them immensely if they are empowered in that way. So that is really great. And what is your take on effective ways to grow a business, as moms often have many additional challenges? Like you said previously, also with the balancing factors, etc.
I think as women, it's giving us permission to want to work. I see that a lot in women where they're like, I want to stay home with my kids. So, and they feel guilty for wanting to work. They feel guilty for wanting to bring a babysitter in for a few hours a week to actually do something they enjoy. And so for me, like, that's the big thing I really love to work with. Like, it's okay to want to be a mom and to want to make an impact and to want to make money. Like, those things are not mutually exclusive. And so for me, like, that's the message that I'm like, you don't have to choose. Like, that's literally where I'm at with, the women that I get to teach, is like, you don't have to choose. Like, you can have all of the things, and whatever those things look like for you. Like, maybe for you it is, your kids are school age and you just want to be done by 3:00 every day to pick them up from school. Like, that's your version of freedom, and that's what you want your business to do for you, right? Or maybe for you it's, I want to be able to work during nap time as a virtual assistant, so I don't have to go to a corporate job and pay for childcare, right? But it doesn't have to be mutually exclusive. So that's my big thing in, balance, I think, is a fallacy. And I think it's finding what works for you and not beating yourself up because you want more, right? Like, I think so many of us that I know I struggled with it. Like, I had a good job and I have a good life and nothing is broken, nothing is wrong. All of our bills are paid. Life is good. And I just want more than that. And it's been a journey for me to overcome that, but I'm really big on encouraging other women to do that as well. Like, it's okay to have more than you need and to just want things.
Yes, I fully agree with you. And I think, like you said in the beginning, as soon as your kids come along, our version of what is success and what actually you want from life and in business changes a lot. So at the end of the day, there is no one specific right way. It is what is working for you and what is your definition of more freedom and having a good life, for yourself, your business, and for your kids. So I really love that. And Ryann, has really been a pleasure to have you. Thank you for shining some light on the very intimidating subject of sales, which doesn't have to be like that. So where can people find you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a Facebook community. It is called Ambitious Women Entrepreneurs Mastering Sales Skills. It is my favorite place on the internet to hang out. There's currently about 4,300 people in that community. I do a ton of free training and stuff on sales. We talk mindset, all of those things. So that's an awesome place. And then we are currently just finally building an Instagram following. So if you'd like to follow along at Uncensored Sales, we'd love to hang out with you there too.
I think it is a big lesson to all of us, to realize that it can be easy, fun, and natural to sell if we just know the right strategies and have the right tools and guidance, from an expert. So thank you so much for your time. It was really so good to talk to you. I really appreciate it. I know moms are busy.
Mom entrepreneurs need to work smart and structure their business effectively more than anyone due to business and life with kids often overlapping. A business that is well structured enables moms to focus and progress better. All the complex parts within the business are properly clarified and systemized. When all parts work according to a plan that brings results, it eliminates the overwhelm and it makes projects and processes within the business easily manageable. It means growing your online business faster, more effectively, and leaving you with more time for the things that matter to you. Isn't that what moms need most? Don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Thank you for watching. Until next time.